Hello everyone and welcome back to the Little Quilter. Today we are going to be working on the reindeer crossing block, and today's goal is to finish this reindeer block. So this block is by Lela Boutique from Moda Fabrics, and we've been slowly making progress through it. We've gotten the ears done and the antlers done, and today we're going to be working on finishing up the antler bases that attach to the head, the eyes, and then getting the nose and muzzle done. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see this block finally come together. The pattern again is Lela Boutique, so if you're interested in this, I'll link it down below so that you guys can check it out. I did purchase this quilt kit from an Etsy shop, which I believe I've linked as well down below, or at least it's in my first video. And if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know. Otherwise, let's get sewing. Okay, that was a lot of sewing, and I have finally got all of the little pieces together, and we're ready to put this whole big block together. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that out, and then I'm going to get to sewing, and we're going to get this done. Okay, so I'm going to lay everything out for the main body of the reindeer here. And remember that this is for making all 13 of them. So we've got everything ready to go here. So I have done a lot of sewing, and I tried to sew as many things together as possible, and this is what I ended up with. So now we are going to jump in to going ahead and ironing all of this, and I have my little Aliso iron and we are ready to do this. So make us a little stack and get going. Okay, everybody, so I'm finishing up these reindeer blocks, and what I'm doing is going through and ironing them. Most of the ironing requires me to do it open, and I've pretty much followed every one of those guidelines except for this last one down here. And if you actually look on the inside of these, I have just folded them over. And the reason I did those is just because it seems silly to do this one open when there's no seams on the bottom here. So ironing this down is going to help this to just lay flatter, I think. And the same thing here. So ironing this down, you know, I'm not really having to deal with a bunch of seams rather than ironing this open and dealing with all of these. So the next step, once I have finished ironing these, I'm going to go through and trim up the edges. I just want the edges to be really nice and straight before I sew on the ears to either side of it. So the directions did give sizes to square everything up as we went along, but most of the time I actually didn't square anything up, mainly because it was pretty close. And if I have something that's not really that close, then I'll square it up. But if it's pretty close or a smidge under, then I don't get stressed about squaring it up. You know, and that's just me. You know, if there's enough room for me to square it up, I'll check one or two and then I let it go. I'm not going to spend all day, all night squaring up things that aren't really that dramatic. So this quilt did come with one little scrap of red fabric, and initially I wasn't actually sure what that red fabric was for, and then I realized that it was to make a red-nosed reindeer. So I did decide to make that. I had enough fabric not to do that, so if I didn't want to make a red nose and just have all of the deer with little black noses, I definitely could have done that, but I couldn't resist having a little red-nosed reindeer and having that unique part stand out. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put him in the quilt. Not in the center, you know, I think it will be off to the side, but once we get there, we'll lay it out and see what looks best. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys, I am working on pinning these, and then I'm going to go ahead and sew all of the ears onto all 13 of the reindeer. That's right, you heard it, all 13. And I will have all 13 reindeer done, other than like pressing that final seam on each of the blocks. But I did want to show you because there was one spot that I think is going to help with lining up all of these ears that's important to note, and a special spot that you probably want to put a pin in. So let me show you. Okay, so if we're looking at this block and we flip this piece over and line it up on the edge, and this is our Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer one, and you take it and line it up, what you will see is that this seam and this seam are going to nest. So when you are pinning, which I have this side pinned, you can see that my first spot that I put a pin in was this spot right here. And then I just made sure the edges were lined up on either end, and then I just stuck one here in the center to keep it down. Now, as I sew, I'm going to hold this so that we go down a 1/4 inch seam on either side, but I do think that this part right here is going to be a big part in that once this has been sewn together that you get that nice lineup. So here is this block, and again, I haven't completely sewn it, but I think these corner pieces just line up really well, especially that one. That one turned out really nice. So this corner piece ends up really nicely. This one not as nice, but pretty darn good. So those ended really nicely, and that's what I focused on, was making sure not this, but this seam is lined up. So I just thought it would be important to note that for you guys so that you could make sure that your seams line up really well if you do this quilt too. And otherwise though, we're making progress here, and I'm going to see if I can get this done. Okay, everybody, I did it. That is all 13 reindeer blocks done. So all I've got to do is press these and then they will be finished. So pretty excited by that and pretty excited to move on to the next part. So I think I'm going to end the video here, and the next part is going to be working on the background squares. Well, I say background squares, they're the other part. Let me grab. Here we go. So we'll be working on the other block in this, which is going to be these white and gray squares here. So I'm super excited to have finished these, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. I know this has been a little bit long, but I think if we can get those other blocks done, then putting this quilt together is going to go pretty quickly. So I'm super excited. Okay, everybody, so we're going to end it here. I hope that you guys have enjoyed me finally finishing this reindeer block, and I'm looking forward to the next part. As always, don't forget to subscribe, comment, give me a thumbs up, and if you like, share the video. Otherwise, we will see you guys next time on The Little Quilter.